Hello everyone. Hope I'm audible and visible to all of you. Just give me a second. So today is 8th November 2025 and let's start the Hindu analysis. My name is Shubham Sagar. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. This is my Telegram channel. I will upload this Hindu analysis PDF by 9:30 a.m. here. Sorry. So yesterday I gave you people this particular question. Good morning, Gajana. So yesterday I gave you people this particular question. Which of the following measures can help make UBI more practical in India? We have talked about universal basic income. So what are the measures, guys? What can make UBI more practical? Good morning, Jivayan. And again, you can use option elimination here. Universal basic income, why it is important, what are the different things associated with UBI. So a phase introduction beginning with vulnerable groups, that is actually correct. That's what we have discussed. Start with the vulnerable groups, start with disabled people and other vulnerable groups of that strata. So first is correct. If first is correct, you will eliminate B option. You're left with A, C, and D. Replace all. So replace all. This is an extreme statement, guys. We have discussed. No, you don't have to replace schemes like Narega, etc. This is not right to work. You will need some schemes. You cannot replace all schemes. Good morning, Iltush. So second is wrong. If second is wrong, you're left with A and D. Or in fact, if second is wrong, you're left with 1, 3, and 4. You can eliminate all option. You will get the answer. That is A, as stated by Iltush and Gajanan. Cool, yeah. So let's continue the discussion without wasting any time. Let's come back to the present. First article, page number 8, editorial, which is associated with both GS2 and GS3. Both, governance, different types of models we'll talk about. This is a little tricky article, guys. And there will be different terms which you have to understand from exam perspective. What is Rawls trap? What is Pareto trap? And again, it's important from GS perspective. In fact, if you have economy or political science, etc., even in optional, it can help you, this particular article. Good morning, Harshini. So Mamdani model, a mayor, New York mayor. He is a son of a very famous Meera Nair, I think, director. So this article is something else altogether. You will understand. So GS2 governance and GS3 economic models. Economic model. We have talked about launch of a particular scheme in Bihar just before election, welfare model. So there are two components here, two types of model which we will talk about in this article. Let me first tell you what these models are. So there is a Rawls model, there is a Pareto model, there is a Rawls trap, there is a Pareto trap. So we have to understand the basic rationale between these traps. Again, it may sound technical. Be with me, you will understand each and everything which this article is saying. So what is the background? 2025 began with US president, and again US will come in another article as well. So Zohran Mamdani, he is becoming mayor of New York City. He is a rightist. So his campaign includes free buses. This will remind you of Delhi, rent freezes, and universal childcare. So there is a concept of welfareism. There is another concept of efficiency. How much freebies you can give. So politician across ideology. Lula, we have talked about Lula when we were talking about COP30. There was an article on Lula da Silva, which we have discussed. It was written by Lula only. Keir Starmer, Indian chief ministers are embracing welfare-driven politics. We have just seen the example of the scheme in Bihar, which was launched. Cool. Central issue, the key issue is, what does sustainable welfareism look like when economy is still driven by market? So what is the model which we should adopt? Profit-based model, welfare-based model, or should there be a middle path? As stated by Buddhism, eightfold path, Ashtangika Marg, visa lane, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, or right meditation. Which particular method you have to adopt? Welfare model or efficiency model? So we have to go somewhere in between. Two sides of welfare. Appeal of welfare, it delivers quick visible benefits, free buses, free 10,000 rupees to women, etc., etc. But over time, what happened? Quality deteriorates. Nothing free. Whatever you're getting for free, the quality will deteriorate. Black market will emerge. Rent freeze will happen. Free buses, free childcare without funding. If you are getting, child is getting free education, maybe the quality will deteriorate. And that's why you need to have some pricing model. And that's what they are saying. Two sides of welfare. Economic rationale. Economics is not again compassion. When you're talking about efficiency, when you're talking about, how economy works, demand and supply works. But it's not totally against compassion. It highlights incentives and behavior, demand and supply. Distribution matters. So let's focus here. So John Rawls says that society should be judged by well-being of its least advantaged members. Good morning, Vikash. So least advantaged members. So he is equity focused. That means we have to take care of Robin Hood model, you know, or not exactly Robin Hood, but you can understand what Rawls is saying. Rawls is talking about how we have to take care of least advantaged people, howsoever we do it, by it, free buses, this and that, 10,000 per year, per month, whatever. Pareto is talking about efficiency. Economy should run on efficiency. Like DBT is one example of efficiency, direct benefit transfer. We are plugging leakages. So there has to be an economy has to oscillate between the two. What curl pull again, there's a double movement here. Oscillate means when you feel like there is a crisis, focus on the Rawls model, equity focus. And when you feel like the economy is doing good, focus on the Pareto model. Market overreach, welfare expansion, overdone welfare, market liberalization. Be with me, you will understand. So India does exactly the same thing, the double movement. Focus between, welfare approach as well as efficiency approach. So PDS, Narega, this is an example of welfare approach. Public distribution system, right to work in rural areas. On the other hand, direct benefit transfer, and when we are talking about GST, these are example of market reforms, the things which are happening in market, how they are plugging leakages. Direct benefit transfer, you're removing ghost beneficiary, so you're focusing on efficiency. So again, it's not my way or the highway, it's not Rawls way or the Pareto way, it's a, you have to focus in or go in between, a switch or oscillate between the two. So dangers of extreme: Pareto trap, focus only on efficiency, then exclusion of the poor. If you keep on focusing about whoever is working the hardest, they should get the maximum benefit, etc., etc., then what will happen to the poorest people? So only focusing on efficiency will not do. Only suppressing prices and free buses will not do. Anything free, the quality will fall. Exit of middle class. What is the meaning of exit of middle class? If you, let's say, start giving everything free to poor people, vulnerable section, it's not like government will give money from their pocket. They will tax the middle class or the upper class. Then what will happen? These middle or upper class, they will start looking for alternative safe havens where the income tax is somewhat zero. Let's say they will start moving to UAE, Saudi Arabia. They will start moving to Monte Carlo, Monaco, which is already happening. Many of Indian citizens, they have settled in Dubai. If you tax them more, so there is a balance which needs to be adopted between Pareto trap and Rawls trap, between efficiency and welfare model. So again, nothing, it's not like, again, sustainable model, the thermostat approach. Goal: build a thermostat between Rawls and Pareto, which adjust between equity and efficiency. When there is a crisis, focus on these freebies, focus on, taking care. It's not only about freebies. When we are doing PDS, public distribution system, or Narega, it's not a freebie, not exactly a freebie, right? In Narega or Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, people are working and then they are getting paid. So this is an equity model. Efficiency as capacity and resources grow. What is efficiency? Again, we have discussed direct benefit transfer. So practical, now this is actually important. What India should do. India is suffering this whole thing, guys. This whole equity model or efficiency model, what we should do, what we can learn from other countries, and what are the good example even in our countries. What is Singapore doing? So again, subsidize outcomes, not inputs. Like, when you're paying bus operator, don't pay bus operator on how many buses they are running, 10 or 20 buses. Pay bus operator on the fact that whether their buses are running on time or not. Same thing you can do for railways also. Make a mechanism for railways where they are on time, like what happens in Japan. So focus on outcomes, not on inputs. And now these are two very important points which you can use in your mains answer as well as pre-answer. What we can do: stakeholder oriented bus operators accepting cap fares for long-term contract. This is happening in Singapore. And these are all examples what India can adopt. Good morning, Rishi. So, bridge between Rawlsian state and Pareto market. So, what is the stakeholder-oriented bus operator accepting cap fare for long-term contract? So, let's say there are certain bus operators. They are running buses in Delhi or Gurgaon or Chandigarh. Chandigarh bus system is not very good. So, they will charge a limited amount from people, capped fare. There will be a limit how much they can charge, which will be actually lower than the market prices. On the other hand, there is something called a quid pro quo. If they are charging capped fare, they also want something in return from government. So what government will give them? They will give them long-term contracts that you can run on this particular highway. You can also run on this particular highway. Only your buses will run on this particular, zone. So this is long-term contracts. So this is a model which is working in Singapore, which is balancing both equity and efficiency model. And then the other one, which is working in like Arvind Eye Care, LV Prasad Eye Institute. One is in Chennai, other is in Hyderabad. Do check that out where it is. So even in India, we are doing this. We are maintaining a balance between Rawls and Pareto. So Arvind Eye Care or LV Prasad Eye Institute, what they are doing, they are using cross subsidy. They can ask you directly ask you the meaning of these particular terms. What is cross subsidy? What is the basic rationale behind cross subsidy? So here you are charging more money from the rich people and charging lesser money from the poor people. So that is cross subsidization. Again, to a certain extent, it's good, but it should not go beyond a point where rich people are feeling like they are getting exploited. So these are not charity but smart business design. So this can be done. This can be expanded on a national level. Stakeholder oriented bus operators, child care or health models. Actually, we are doing that only when you do progressive taxation. When you talk about different types of taxation, progressive taxation, proportional taxation, in a way we are taxing the rich and we are then giving that money via subsidies to the poor. So this thing is happening. So fiscal honesty, welfare fails when underfunded or mispriced. You cannot keep on giving 200 unit electricity free all the time. You can't keep on giving free buses all the time. After a certain period, you will either decrease the quality or the light will not come. So there has to be a balance which has to be maintained. Promises must be realistically costed and backed by growth. So hope you're understanding where this article is going. There has to be an oscillation, oh my God, oscillation between Rawls model and Pareto model, equity model and efficiency model. In downturns, like we have discussed this is just a repeat. In crisis, focus on equity model, and when the economy is recovering, focus on efficiency model. Efficiency, just remember, direct benefit transfer. So Mamdani model, whatever Mamdani will try to do in New York, welfare policy, etc., it should be inclusive and it should include market, and it should not, when you're talking about welfare, it should not exclude efficiency. Both has to go together hand in hand. And that is a good challenge. So the challenge of modern governance. Now, this is actually a very good question. This is high quality mains question on the verge of optional question. So the challenge of modern governance lies not in choosing between welfare and markets, but in designing a thermostat that balances Rawlsian equity with Pareto efficiency. So you have to talk about, it's not only about freebies, it's not only about market efficiency. We have to maintain a middle path as stated by Buddha. Ashtangika mark and Buddha. So same Ashtangika mark has to be applied here, which is the thermostat principle. And then you can talk about what Singapore is doing when it comes to bus subsidy, how there is a capped price there, but they are getting long-term contract. So this is a thermostat. What different hospitals in Chennai and Hyderabad are doing, charging the rich higher so that they can subsidize the poor. So there has to be a balance which is maintained, or which has to be maintained. India is also doing it. We have Narega, which is the Rawlsian model, and then we have DBT, which is Pareto efficiency model. So we are maintaining a balance, and we have to learn from other countries as well. And that is the challenge of governance. It's not only about equity, it's not only about efficiency. So economic governance often oscillates between the two poles: Rawlsian welfarism, focused on equity, and Pareto efficiency, focused on growth and market allocation. And the great countries are those countries which are balancing Rawlsian equity with Pareto efficiency. And how we can become great? As Donald Trump says, MAGA, make America great again. In some ways, Donald Trump do remind me of Modi sir, although Modi sir is so awesome. So Rawls Pareto dilemma. Rawlsian principle: judge society by the well-being of its least advantaged members. That is what Rawls is saying. Pareto is saying policy should not make anyone worse off, but it should focus on efficiency. In practice, society oscillates between two, which is known as double movement. Historical oscillation in India. We have PDS, Narega, etc., which is more on Rawlsian model. We have direct benefit transfer, GST, which is more on Pareto model. So again, this is very important, guys. You have to revise this article multiple number of times. So a thermostat model, oscillation. During crisis, lean towards Rawlsian model. During growth phases, lean towards Pareto model. Example of balanced welfareism: Singapore bus contracting model, which we have discussed. In India, DBT Narega. In India, Chennai and Hyderabad hospital, what they are doing, cross subsidy thing. So welfareism need not be anti-market, non-market, anti-welfare. As we keep on talking, anything free is actually not free. You are the product. So we have to maintain a balance between welfare and efficiency. That's what this article is saying. And Rawls Pareto thermostat has to be designed, like, balancing, oscillation. That is the need of the hour. Do remember this Rawlsian logic, Pareto logic. If you talk about this in your mains answer, examiner will feel like, oh my God, you are so awesome, just like a wow. Now let's solve some questions so that you can remember stuff, whatever we have just discussed. So idea of a Rawls Pareto thermostat in welfare economics refers to what? Again, a very high quality article, guys. Very high quality article. Gajanan has given the answer, a system that alternates between equity-oriented and efficiency-oriented approaches depending on economic condition. When we have to do what? Gajanan, Harshini, Rishi, Iltush, Jivayan, all of you have given the answer. Very good here. Then you have MCQ2. Which of the following best defines the cross-subsidy model seen in institutions like Arvind Eye Care or LV Prasad Eye Institute? What is the cross-subsidy model, guys? Rawls, Pareto. The government directly subsidizes all poor patients. Profits from wealthier customers finance free or low cost services for poor patients. Healthcare is entirely free and funded by donations. Insurance company bear all costs through taxation. So Gajanan, Iltush, Harshini, they have given the answer. Rishi, they have given the answer. So the answer is profit from wealthier customers finance free or low cost services from poor patients. Page 8, editorial GS2, shutdown, showdown. So in US, shutdown has happened, federal government shutdown. We have to understand these terms, you know. You may have read this. This is the has entered 39th day. Longest such closure in American history. Anything longest, largest, first, they're very important. How do these shutdown occurs? Why it doesn't occur in India? What has happened there? So Trump is a Republican. It belongs to Republican Party. And then there is another big party in US which is known as Democrats. So Obama was a Democrat. Biden was a Democrat. So all these were Democrats. So again, you people already know in India we have fused SOP, separation of power, and this separation of power is directly mentioned in your GS mains paper too. But in US they have strict SOP, strict separation of power. What does that strict SOP means? That legislature, executive, and judiciary, they are working in their own domain. Nobody is disturbing other entity. So in legislature, in American legislature, which is known as Congress, there has been a stalemate over this particular act, Affordable Care Act, which was also known as Obamacare. So you can understand Obamacare. So now the fight is between Democrats and Republicans. We have to understand how these shutdowns occur, and you have to, because again, so what is happening? We can understand this is Affordable Care Act, this is Obamacare. Obama was a Democrat, and now currently the government is of Republicans. Trump. So obviously Trump will not like something or will not like to continue something which was done by a Democrat. And so that is what is happening. So there is a stalemate which is happening in their legislature, Congress, dispute over expiring subsidies for health insurance premiums. So the people, the Republicans which are there in the Congress, they are not in favor of increasing these subsidies to a certain point. Democrats are like, no, we will expand it. This is needed. And because of this whole thing, money, they are, we read about appropriation acts, even in our parliament, which is needed to give money to the government. So the appropriation bills are in a pending stage in means US Congress. They are not getting passed, because of which money is not getting passed, and because there is no money, there are so many people, 1.4 million federal employees who have been furloughed. Furloughed means they are not getting their pay right now. So hope you people have you people heard about appropriation bill? Anybody? Appropriation bill, appropriation act. When you read polity, when you read Lakshmikant, you read about these particular terms. So because of this disruption which has happened in Congress, they are not passing appropriation bill, because of which money and appropriation bill even in India is needed to be passed during the budget session, so that government gets money using which they can use and do some work. That is not happening. US federal government shutdown has happened because of this, because of limited money which they have. So 1.4 million federal employees, they have been furloughed without pay. They're not getting their money right now. They're not getting their monthly salary right now. And so many services have been disrupted because of the deadlock. Nobody has heard about appropriation bill? Chipandis, guys. Chipu తెలుసు లేదు కాదు. Oh my god. Just give me a second. So yes, air travel disruption, major US airlines are reducing flight, because even the air traffic controllers, they have not got their monthly salary. All these things because of stalemate over Obamacare, because of the non-passage of appropriation bill or appropriation act. Seriously, Jiva and Rishi, Harshini, Iltush and other people, whoever they are, or whoever will be watching Vikas, etc., you have never heard about this appropriation bill? Surprising. So, hope for resolution. The Republican proposal includes a short-term funding measure and one-year fiscal support. Here also we have something like that, vote on account or something like that, where even if the appropriation bill is taking some time, we are giving government some amount of money so that they can carry out some work. So that thing, and again here also the talk related to Obamacare, Republican people, the people of siding with Trump, they are saying that we can introduce some money for these food assistance, veteran affairs, a law passed by legislation giving government authority to withdraw money from Consolidated Fund of India. Exactly. So this is a deep political divide which is leading to shutdown in US. Do keep it in mind why this is happening. Trump belongs to which particular party, and he is like liberals, and now they are saying that this Republican, he is a rightist. So the rightists are calling the shot not only in US, even in India. We are seeing rightists having a major say in the government policies, and this happens world over. There is a switch. Sometimes rightists will have a say, and then leftists will come, and then again so on, and centrists will come. Despite of that, liberals and progressives. So Trump is seen as non-progressive, anti-progressive. They have regrouped and performed well. So hope you understood the basic rationale why the shutdown has happened. Money is not coming. Their appropriation bill has not passed because of the stalemate over Obamacare. That is the basic rationale. It's a part of budget process, sir. Very good. Yes, sir. In polity, very good, Iltush. Cool. So key policy issues, central issues in US politics include jobs, tariffs, you can see immigration, etc. And there has a need to, again, this is a technical word which you have to use a lot. Bipartisanship. Bipartisanship means what? That, there are different parties here, Republican and Democrat, we're talking from US perspective. They should come together. They should not have issues on such critical issues, which critical matters, which can lead to such a big stalemate. So they should come together. They should work on bipartisanship. They should leave aside their queries, especially when it comes to such a big issue and such a big shutdown. So call for a new normal. The online, again, you can read this thing, underscore the need for a pragmatic middle path. So middle path we were talking about in the first article, also middle path we are talking about in the second article also, between extreme Trumpism and traditional progressivism. So in normal sense, he's not seen as progressive. He's seen as anti-progressive. Right. Okay. So in democratic politics, the term bipartisanship refers to what? What is bipartisanship? Cooperation between rival parties to achieve shared policy goals, conflict between two major political parties on policy matters, creation of a single party system through coalition, political dominance by one party over others. What is the answer, guys? Chippendies. What is bipartisanship? We have just discussed bipartisanship. Iltush has given the answer. This is the answer, cooperation between rival parties to achieve shared policy goals as stated by Iltush. Very good, yeah. Now, because we are talking about US, let's bring some static question also. It's not like only these questions, like, some study questions have been also been asked. So based on your current existing knowledge, try to solve this particular question, which has US in it. You may solve this, you may not solve this, doesn't matter. But after solving this question, you should remember these features and you should locate them on map. So try to solve this question, guys. So Iltush and Jivayan, they have given the answer. Locate them on map, guys. After this is your homework. First, try to solve. You may have heard about Great Victoria Desert, Grand Canyon, Lake Winnipeg, Southern Alps. Just try to see where they are. Where is Grand Canyon? We keep on hearing about it if you read geography even a little bit, you may have heard about, you should have, what may, you should have heard about Grand Canyon. So Iltush and Jivan, they have given the answer. Okay, let's do this question. So Grand Canyon, and again locate them, guys. So Grand Canyon is in US. So let's say this is A, B, C, D. So B is 4. So second cannot be 2. Now you're left with B and D. 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 1. So what will be the answer? Grand Canyon is in US. So this you should know. This has to be known to you. If it is not known, then this is so wrong. Great Victoria Desert is in Australia. So A1. So the answer is 1, 4, 2, 3. B is the answer. Now revise, locate all of them on the map, guys. This is important. Great Victoria Desert, Great Grand Canyon, Lake Winnipeg, Southern Alps. Jivan has given B is the answer. You people have not heard about these terms? Oh my god. Are all of you preparing for 2027? I feel like most of you are preparing. Anybody here who is preparing for 2026? I think most of you are preparing for 2027 based on your knowledge. It's not like I'm saying anything about your knowledge. It's just that you should know these terms, guys. At least Grand Canyon. At least you should know that B or D, out of B and D, one will be the option. Anybody? Yeah, seriously. Anybody, Iltu, Jivayan, Harshini, Rishi, and other people, are you preparing for 2026 or UPSC 2027? Or you're not preparing for any like UPSC exam, you're preparing for some other exam. What is the aim, guys? Like, share, and subscribe, spread the word. And doesn't matter whether you're preparing for 2026 or 2027, write your answers. Write means answer, guys. As many as possible. As Harshini is doing, Annie is doing, Sonali is doing. So many other people are there who are writing answers and sending me every day. Write your answers, get it evaluated by anybody, and focus. If you're preparing for EPF, you can take this PDF. If you need any mentorship for mental sanity, I'm there. If your history is weak, you have multiple courses which is there. We'll talk more about it at the end, but don't leave your mains answer. Doesn't matter you're preparing for 2026, 2027, or 2028, you have to do mains answer writing. If somebody asks me, what is this biggest cheat code for cracking UPSC CSE, based on my experience and the students who have cracked, this is. The sooner you start in, even if you start in 11th, 12th, sooner the better. So please write answer, guys. Very important. Jivan 2027, Harshni 2026. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Rishi 2027. Page number 7, GS3. Farmer killed in tiger attack. Ministers halt safaris in Bandipur. Bandipur Tiger Reserve. Nagara Hole Tiger Reserve. Tigers are killing animals, means not animals, peoples there. Where are they located? They are located in Karnataka. Bandipur, Nagara Hole, they are part of a biosphere reserve which is known as Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Very important from pre-perspective, all these terms. And we have also discussed how a biosphere reserve is different from a national park or wildlife sanctuary or a tiger reserve. One particular biosphere can have multiple national parks, they can have multiple wildlife sanctuaries, they can have multiple tiger reserves. Like this Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, it contains this Nagara Hole and Bandipur Tiger Reserve, and which is in Karnataka. Then it also contains some other biosphere reserves which are in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. In fact, Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve was the first biosphere reserve under UNESCO's Men and Biosphere Program, MAB program. So there are so many things. Cool, 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 Itush. So there are so many things which are important in this article because it is environment. So anything related to environment becomes important. So a farmer named Chaudaha Naika was killed in a tiger attack. Condolences to his family. Third such death has happened, and because of which people are worried in. And again, these things, Nagara Hole, Bandipur Tiger Reserve, they are continuously new, especially Bandipur Tiger Reserve. And we have just discussed where they are. They are in Karnataka. And I have already given you this particular image in the previous Hindu analysis where we have talked about these important tiger reserve. So we are talking about Bandipur, we are talking about Nagara Hole. Then you have Periyar. Periyar is also included in Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. And then some of these National Park Wildlife Sanctuaries Tiger Reserves are part of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Now your homework is, guys, this is your homework. Find out, we have discussed Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve spread across 3 states, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. So Karnataka, we have just seen Nagara Hole and Bandipur. Find out which, National Park Wildlife Sanctuary Tiger Reserve of Tamil Nadu and Kerala are part of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Very important. UPSC has asked multiple PYQs on them. So go through this. Buxa already asked by UPSC multiple times. Dampa has been asked. So this is a very important image. You have to go through it multiple number of times. Even near my grandmother home, tiger killed 2 farmers. Oh my God, Jivayan. This is such a sad thing, again, so be wary of these tigers. There was a book I was reading by Jim Corbett. I forgot the name. He has killed many man-eating tigers. Not all tigers eat man. When they start killing and eating men, when they are very old, they have lost their teeth, or they are very injured, not capable of killing other animals, etc. So it's in a, and unlike leopards, which only attack during the night, they can attack small babies, etc. I was in Assam, leopard attack used to happen a lot. Tiger, when they become man eaters and when they start attacking humans, they attack during both day and night. They have no fear as such. like, but yes, they generally don't attack. Not all tigers are man-eating or man-killing. So what is the answer, guys? Consider the following statement about Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. And yes, when you will read, let me go here. So when you people will grow up and you will read about geography, you will read about there's a Western Ghat here, there's an Eastern Ghat here. Nilgiri is acting as a linkage between both Eastern and Western Ghats. So yes, that is also correct. And this is a tricky question. If you're getting it wrong, don't worry about it. Yes, it was the first biosphere reserve established in India. This is correct. But again, we have not discussed all the points. It's totally fine if you're getting it wrong. Don't get it wrong afterwards, after you have done this question, and research more on Nilgiri, guys. Very important. Spread across Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. Second is correct. Includes both Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat ecosystem. All the statements are correct. The answer is D. D is the answer, guys. D is the answer. Rishi, Iltush, Harshini, and Jiva. Research more on Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Very important. One of the most important biosphere reserve. Now, Vande Mataram has been in news from last, I think, 10 days. It has been coming, and I was like, there were other important news which we have to cover, so I was not covering it, and now Modi sir has talked about it, so we will cover it. D. Yes, Madhubala. Madhubala is such a good girl. So Vande Mataram, first written by Bankim Chand Chatterjee in 1875, and when Bankim Chand Chatterjee compiled Anand Math, which is based on Anand Math is based on which rebellion, guys? UPSC has asked 1,000 questions on Anand Math. So when he wrote Anand Math, it was completed by 1882-83. Then he included Vande Mataram in Anand Math as well. It was a part of Anand Math as well. And it was initially written in 1875, and that's why 150 years have happened. Anything which is completing 100 years, 150 years, 175 years, all these things are very important, guys. So now Modi sir has attacked Congress for certain stuff. We will talk about that, and we are very happy that Modi sir has so much knowledge on history. Because why we are like surprised by Modi sir's knowledge on history? Because if you go by his certificate, he has completed his Masters of Arts in entire political science. If you feel like, no, sir, there is nothing called thing called as entire political science, it's either political science or not. So even BJP on their ex Twitter website, they have posted this degree of Modi sir, Masters of Arts in entire political science. So even though he has knowledge of entire political science, not political science, entire political science, he has so much knowledge on history as well. I so want to read this subject called as entire political science. Very good. If you people find any book related to not political science but entire political science, please send it to me, guys. This is the least you can do for me. Entire political science. So Modi sir has accused Congress of truncating the national song Vande Mataram in 1937. Now this is important. 19th Rishi, this is your homework. You are the biggest supporter of Modi ji. Find out a book on entire political science and send it to me ASAP. So 1937, let's focus on the, leaving aside the political connotation, let's focus on the important thing, guys. Faizpur session. This 1937 Congress session happened in Faizpur, which is currently in Maharashtra. At that time, it was part of Bombay presidency, guys. And this is very important because this is the first Congress session which happened in rural areas. So anything first is very important. Your first love, your first crush. Iltush has given the answer. Sannyasi rebellion. And we are talking about what we are talking about. We were talking about Anand Math based on Sannyasi rebellion. So where were we? I forgot. Historical context. In 1937, when we talk about Vande Mataram, it is our national song. It is not our national anthem. There was a reel which was going on. There was a political leader. He did not know the national song, national anthem of India. Or the Sepoy. No, not the Sepoy Mutiny. It is based, Sepoy Mutiny, 1857 revolt happened. It's not based on that. It's based on Sannyasi rebellion. So where were we? I forgot. Yeah, what was I telling you people? Oh, yes, let's focus. So 1937 Faizpur session, first session which happened in rural area, first Congress session. In 1937, Congress adopted a sorted version because they felt like out of the six stanzas, only two were adopted because they felt like the other stanzas had some amount of religious connotation, communal connotation. So, and Modi sir is like, yeah. So what we're discussing on January 24, 1950, Constituent Assembly adopted it as the national song. We're talking about Vande Mataram. Modi sir said that no, we should have the full original six stanzas. Or the whole song inspired the entire nation, and this truncation is severing the part of its soul. Today's generation should understand this because there is a divisive mindset. Oh my God, Modi sir is talking about divisive mindset. Makes me feel so good. Modi sir is, I love you, Modi ji. So let's focus. On Banking Chat, no, this is the part which is important. Song's origin. Vande Mataram, written by Banking Chattopadhyay, 1875, when he published Anand Math based on Sannyasi rebellion in 1882-83. This song was a part of it. And Modi sir is saying that song became a proclamation of India's independence. The way they are going, maybe sooner rather than later, God knows whether they will declare it as national anthem or not. So he released the commemorative, oh my God, read it, man. I'm so not well. Commemorative stamp and coin marking 150 years of national song. And again, this is true for anything and everything, guys. When you are reading about different rebellions also, if it completes 100 years, 125 years, 150 years, it becomes very important. So this Vande Mataram, anything associated with Vande Mataram is very important from 2026 perspective. Even people who are preparing for EPFO, which will be happening on 30th November, this song is important now. So CR Keshwan, blah, 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 BJP is talking about how Congress was so bad, they should not have done this in 1937. Now they can ask you, 1937 session happened where? And here he's saying that even BJP spokesperson is saying that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose also wanted the full version of Vande Mataram. So this was not done. Why they have trimmed the last four stanzas. Now let's solve some questions so that you can remember all these stuff. Sujalam Suflam Malayaj Sitlam. Consider the following statement regarding Vande Mataram. Was written in Banking Chand or written by Banking Chand Chattopadhyay 1875, originally part of the Noble. Anand Math Constituent Assembly adopted the song as national anthem on January 24, 1950. Now, UPSC has asked questions on Anand Math also, where they have asked a sequence, so to say. So, yeah. What is the answer, guys? And use option elimination here. So Madhubala has given the answer, Harshini has given the answer. Vande Mataram is not our national anthem, guys. Vande Mataram is our national song. What is our national anthem? Anybody knows it? So there was that reel where somebody asked that guy, what is the national anthem? So he started singing, Tu kisi aur ka hai filhal ki tera ho jaun. There's a song by Akshay Kumar and V. Prak. That is not our national anthem. Our national anthem, if you don't know it, it is Jana Gana Mana. Vande Mataram is the national song. So third is wrong. If third is wrong, you will eliminate B, C, and D, and you're getting A as the answer, as stated by, oh my God, why do you people remove your options? I don't understand this. So A is the answer. So hope you understood what was the trick, and this is a tricky question. Because you have three statements, you can easily skip this particular small portion. Don't do that. And be very on the lookout of these kind of questions. MCQ 7. The 1937 Fairspur session of Congress is historically significant. Why? जनगण मन तो किसी और का है फिलहाल कि मैं तेरा हो जाऊं. That is not national anthem, although that's an awesome song. So why is 1937 Festival session is famous? Something first happened, your first crush, your first love. First. Really good. Focus, guys. So it was the first time Indian flag was officially hoisted. It was the first Congress session held in a rural area emphasizing peace and issues. It marked the adoption of Purna Swaraj as the goal. Tell me this one. Which Congress session is associated with the first time adoption of Purna Swaraj as the goal? It led directly to adoption of Constitution of India. What is the answer, guys? Chepangi is fast, guys. Harshini, Iltush, and Gajanan, they have given the answer. First Congress session held in rural area. Tell me the answer. Which is the which is the Congress session which first adopted Purna Swaraj as the resolution? What is the name of that song? I will give you a hint. Guru Randhawa. Now tell me, what is that name of that session? Guru Randhawa. He keeps on doing this. PYQ 8 asked by UPSC in 2018. Tough question. Why? Because here this is a chronology based question. Based on your existing knowledge. Only knowing Vande Mataram Anand Math will not do. You have to know some other stuff also. Lagdi Lahore Diya. Harshini, is Guru Randhawa your favorite singer? How do you know about Lahore session? Lahore session of 1929. First time adoption of Purna Swaraj as the resolution. Very good. Let's focus on this, guys. Which of the following, again, it's a tough question because where is Deembandhu Mitra? Where is Bankim Chattopadhyay? This is one point, right? You need to know other thing also because they're asking happened earliest. So this is important. Now you have to do research on other things also. Swami Dayanand established Arya Samaj 1875. Deembandhu Mitra wrote Neel Darpan around 1858-59 based on Neel Bidroh, which is known as Indigo Rebellion. Revise all these topics, guys. For more, you can join my History through NCRT series. He. So Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay wrote Anandamath around 1882-83. When Satyendra Tagore became the first Indian to succeed in Indian ICS, it happened in early 1860s. So if you go by that logic, B is the answer. Deen Bandhu Mitra wrote Neel Darpan. B is the answer, guys. That happened earliest. Deen Bandhu Mitra writing Neel Darpan. Very good. Again, a tough question because you people have not read history at all. Harshini, you're giving it in 2026. Chepandis, are you doing? Why you people have not revised history? These are basic questions, guys. Why making mistakes in these questions? I need to have a talk with you people privately. Harshini, send me a message. You are anyway part of mains answer evaluation. So send me why your history is so weak. I need to have a talk with you. So China launches new aircraft carrier Fujian as it seeks to project power. So what is Fujian? What is aircraft carrier? Very important element of your country's defense preparedness. China has 3 aircraft carrier. US has 11. How many India has? And why these are important? Why these aircraft carriers are important? Because these are warships. Oh my God. Like you see this, Fujian. This is new aircraft carrier of China. So on these ships, you can also have your aircraft, which can go in the enemy territories and they will do the bombardment. Oh my God. So even like US has 11, China has 3. How many India has? Chip and days. Yes, need to revise. These are basic questions. These are not PYQs. You cannot do mistake. Nadi kinare saap hai. PYQs galat karna paap hai. That means alongside a river bank, there is a snake, and if you're making mistakes in the questions which you have already done, especially PYQs, that's a great sin. So China has 3, India has 2 aircraft carriers, INS Vikrant, INS Vikramaditya, and we are planning for more. INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya. Remember these. Aircraft carriers, very important part of defense preparedness. Although China has 3, we have 2, US has 11, but there is no competition with US at all because our aircraft carriers, especially China's, they are conventionally powered. On the other hand, US aircraft carriers, they are nuclear powered. What is the basic meaning of these terms? You will understand. I will tell you. But first of all, let's look at this. So China has officially commissioned its newest aircraft carrier, Fujian. Okay. So what is the meaning of this term? We'll talk about this. Let's focus on this line. All Chinese carriers are conventionally powered, whereas US carriers are nuclear powered. Let's do research. You people do research on INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya, which are India's aircraft carriers. Are they conventionally powered or are they nuclear powered? They will be conventionally powered. If China does not have the technology to power their aircraft carriers via nuclear energy, we cannot have it. I'm not saying we are worse than China in this regard. I'm just telling you the reality. So what is the difference between this conventionally powered? Conventionally powered means diesel, etc. is powering Chinese aircraft carrier. On the other hand, US carriers are powered by some nuclear reactors. Because nuclear energy fusion, or especially fusion, we have not controlled it at its optimal level, so it releases a lot of energy, so they can go on for a longer period. They can operate almost indefinitely without refueling. That does not happen in the case of Chinese carrier, or let's say India's aircraft carrier. Because we are conventionally powered, we have to keep on refueling diesel, etc. So we cannot go indefinitely, and that gives us so much advantage over us. People keep on talking about how China will replace US. China will replace US. Easier said than done, guys. We are like China is still 100 years away from replacing US as the biggest power, and this is one of the major reason. And why? Again, US has that technology. China still does not have that technology. They have nuclear powered submarine. China has nuclear powered submarine. But the amount of energy which submarine requires and the amount of energy which these big aircraft carrier require, there is a big difference here, guys. And they still do not have the capability to power their aircraft carrier by nuclear energy. And that is a big disadvantage for China when it comes to comparison with US. So Fujian is China's third aircraft carrier, first fully designed and built domestically. And again, this is the homework of yours also. INS Vikrant, INS Vikramaditya. Find out which is totally built in India. Out of these 2 aircraft carriers, which one is totally built in India? Cool. So strategic purpose, again, Xi Jinping is trying to do this modernization. We have talked about it. Chinese premier, they have their own strategy. The Xi Jinping, he has his strategies revolving around aggressive aggrandizement. Aggressive aggrandizement. There was a earlier premier, his name was Deng Xiaoping. You people were not born at that time. I was in my 20s. So Deng Xiaoping, his policy was hide your strength and bid your time. So based on these Chinese premier strategy, they have these different policies: high distance and bid your time. Cool, sir. You can use these points in your means answer when you're talking about India-China relationship, blah, 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 and why they're going for these aircraft carriers. I think the next step of China will be to make aircraft carriers which are nuclear powered. Liaoning, the first one, Shandong, the second one, and this is the third one. Cool, guys. Not very cool for us, but yes. Let's solve this particular question, MCQ 9 of the day. Why are US aircraft carriers considered to have greater range and endurance compared to Chinese carriers? What do you think is the answer? Gajanan has given the answer. So again, guys, this is your homework. We will discuss it on Monday. I did not have the strength or energy to make any more questions. I think I need 1 or 2 days of bed rest. So thankfully tomorrow is Sunday. I don't have to do Hindu. Like, share and subscribe, spread the word, guys. Join this Telegram channel. I will share the PDF by 9:30. In fact, even before that. And yes, focus on your preparation. Don't just run after free. Today we have talked about Rawls and Pareto. Sometimes you have to give some money. So again, write your answers. Doesn't matter 26, 27, 28. You have to write your answer, guys. I will keep on iterating it. Not me. Anybody can evaluate who knows something about UPSC. But yes, write your answers. And you have all these things. If you have any doubt in any subject, don't wait for prelims. You know what will happen? There's a term which we call Bhediya Dhasan. Bhediya Dhasan means during January, February till May or April, people are like, do this, that, and that. Start doing things right now. Don't take things in a very easier or lighter manner. I'm still speaking. Wait for me. I will wait for your thank yous. Just give me some time. So history means complete material and all these things. If you're weak, if you're poor, these are not money in lakhs, and the prices will increase from 1st December, because we have talked about efficiency model. We have talked about how if things have to run, prices have to be increased. So the sooner you are enrolling in these services or these courses rather, the better it is for you. And don't feel bad that from 1st December, if that lifetime success bundle increases to 6,999, I'm just saying it will increase. How much it will increase, I don't know. Or these prices increase. If you need any help anywhere, don't think about money too much. Your time is very, very important. Cool. Now, thank you. So thank you, Iltush. Thank you, Jivayan. Thank you, Madhubala. Thank you, Harshini. Thank you, everyone. I'm going, and I will see you people tomorrow. Monday.